Great day, great day, great day. It's me. It's me. Happy YouTube Day, guys. We are on episode 27. 27 episodes strong. You guys have been with me. And yeah, I'm grateful for the journey. I'm grateful you guys. I'm grateful I started this YouTube. And I'm grateful that, I am getting a chance to do something I've always wanted to do. So this is for me, this is the beginning of something big, and I'm grateful that we've gotten this far. Um, yeah. This episode is special, because it is, as you all know, I lost my auntie 2 weeks ago. She passed away, and I wanted to wait to do something to honor her because, as you see, I have this beautiful, beautiful necklace, and it has a purple heart with words on there. And yeah, these are my auntie's ashes. I never got to, but she was diagnosed with dementia in January. I started my YouTube in February, and my auntie was pretty much, she was in the bed a lot, and she didn't have a lot of energy some days, so we didn't get a chance to do an episode together. So this is our episode together. Um, so I wanted to wait until I got her ashes because I wanted to include her in the video. Um, and have a piece of her with me. And it's so crazy because I have struggled the last 2 weeks, and it's been a struggle, and I couldn't figure out what it was until recently. Um, I had never been without her, like never not been able to have access to her. So to not be able to talk to her, not be able to go in her room was has been difficult for me, and it's been a lot I wanted to talk to her about, and I haven't gotten a chance to. So when when I got home, my mom was like, her ashes are here, and gave me my necklace, and I was just like, okay, I I have her near me again, so I feel a little bit better, just because I have that piece of her with me. Um, so my auntie meant a lot to me. Um, we were only 9 years apart in age, so it's like we grew up like brother and sister. Like we had a lot of sibling rivalries. She could not stand the fact that it's like so my mom and her sister, my mom and my auntie were my grandmother's only two children. And my grandma, she was a boy mom, but didn't have no boys. And then I came along, and she got her boy. And I spent a lot of time with my grandma. I spent a lot of time with my auntie in the interim as well. And hold on, come sit down. Sit. So my auntie so I got to spend a lot of time with mine. And it's funny, a couple of weeks leading up to her passing, my little brother and I were talking, and we were on the way home. He was like, I was grandma's favorite. And I was like, nigga, please. And we got home, and I went to my auntie's room, and she happened to be awake, thankfully. And I was like, hey, girlfriend. And I had brought her some ice, and I was like, will you please tell your... Hey, stop. I said, could you please tell your nephew who was Mama's favorite? And she rolled her eyes, and she was like, you. And I was like, I'm glad you understand. Why are you doing this? I'm recording. So, I guess I had to pet him to get him to be quiet. So, he just wants some attention. He just wants some attention. So yeah. So, that was that or whatnot. And that was like our long-standing thing. Like, it'd be so weird because I would miss her. Like, growing up, I would miss her because we had moved to Florida when I was in like the third grade. I first moved to Richmond, and then we moved to Florida. So it was like got further and further away from her. So it was like when I did get to see her, like I was excited to see her the first couple of days. And after a couple of days, it was kind of like, her ass can go back home. Her ass can go back home. Because when I tell you, it's like she had an attitude problem. And I'd be like, girl, you ain't got to be such an asshole all the time. But hey, that was her, my baby. Alright, so I guess he wants to be petted while I'm recording. So I'm going to pet him while I record. So that was like our on-standing thing. Like, it'll be so irritating to my mom. Because, like, my auntie and I, we would really, like, get into it. Like, we call each other names or whatever. Like, but we had a lot of funny moments. My auntie used to torture me. Let me tell you about her ass used to torture me, right? So to this day, I still have a fear of Seaman and It. Like those two movies, I won't go near. Like why they remade them shits is like why? Like I remember when they first started releasing trailers for those movies, my auntie sent them to me and was like, "Guess what? Guess what?" And I'm like, "Girl, go to hell." So that was like our on-standing thing. So my auntie introduced me to Whitney, Janet, and Patty, my favorite artists. She introduced them, and I low key feel like it's low key like her fault that I'm gay too, because she like those are like gay favorites. Um, so and yeah, she introduced me to them, and I'm grateful because because of my auntie, and my mom, like I learned a lot about music. I love different artists, and like my playlist is a vast of different types of music, and it's mainly because of them. I used to love to just want to listen to the music my auntie listened to, and that passed on to me, and I'm grateful. Like super grateful. Like when you have an aunt that's like that close in age, you have no choice but to grow up like siblings. Like I would hear her one time during the orientation for the last job that she had, which worked from home. I was walking past where she worked at, and I heard her talking to them, and she was like, yes. She was like, I have a sister. She was like, yeah, I have nieces and nephews. And she was like, my oldest of my nephews, these nephews like my brother, because we're so close in age. That's really just what it was. Like up until like even like when she passed, like we still acted like siblings. And yeah, so this is I'm sorry, like y'all again you got to bear with me, even with notes, this is hard. Um this is really hard. Um yeah, my auntie loved to scare me. Like, oh my gosh. One time in particular, she locked me in a bathroom. Yes, locked me in the bathroom. And she started yelling out C-Man's name. And when I tell you, I screamed and I hollered. When I tell you, I snitched so terribly. Oh, did I snitch? I didn't even snitch to my mama. I went straight to management. I went to my grandma and I told my grandma. And my grandma tore her ass a new one about her baby. And my auntie couldn't stand it. And one time in particular, when we were little, well, when I was little, my auntie, like my grandma always spoiled her with board games, even though my auntie had no friends. And one board game in particular, it was a pizza game, and it was kind of like Operation-ish. So it's like you created your own pizza, and the board game or the board was split into it was shaped like a pizza pie, and split into 4 big slices. So I remember I had took um she was cleaning her room, and I took the pizza thing and I went and I hit her ass dead in the center of her back. Just whop. Ooh, when I tell you she chased me. She didn't chase me far because I was little. So I ran to my grandma's room and jumped in my grandma's bed with her. And my grandma, what's wrong? What's wrong? What's wrong? And my auntie was pissed. Oh, she was pissed. And I didn't get in trouble because, again, I was Mama's favorite. Sorry. So, yeah. In my developing years, I would say, like, coming into myself, my auntie was very supportive. One thing she always wanted me to break out of was being so nice. She was always worried about me getting hurt or somebody hurting me because I was just a kind-hearted person, and she never wanted anybody to do anything to hurt me. And she would take an offense when I did get hurt. Friends, exes, like she took it personal. Like, took it personal. So if some of y'all asses get haunted, you're welcome. You shouldn't have messed with me. But yeah, my auntie was big on me not being naive, big on me just standing up for myself. And I will say, like, this slick mouth of mine and the things that I said, I remember one time when I got into my fight in school, and little boy sat there and called me a fat F word. I sat there and I said, bitch, I'll hit you in the back of the throat with a hammer. I got that from my auntie. Yeah. So some of my quick little quirks that I say, I do have some of them I say that she said, but then it just it helped me tap into my creative cussing. So I kind of get that from her. So you're welcome again. Oh boy, this is honoring her it's I never thought that I would have to honor her like this. I would have thought I would have gotten a chance to do it with her, with me, physically. So this is a big part of my grieving process because we're not having a service for her. So this is my version of having a service for my auntie, and getting a sense of closure. Um, my auntie was special. When I say like she was special, like chick was special. When it came to me coming out to my family, my auntie was the only family member that didn't have to adjust or get used to anything or had to work through their own feelings about me and my sexuality. My auntie was just like, you're my nephew. It is what it is. Like, she didn't care. Like, she didn't care who I was with. She just wanted me to be treated right and wanted me to be happy. And she wanted me to be happy as she wanted me to just be happy without having to depend on another, without having to depend on another person to achieve my happiness. And she was big on you don't have to have anybody to be whole. All you need is God. And I struggled with that for a long time because, like, going into adulthood, I was never alone. Like, I always had someone there. If it wasn't her, it was my siblings. It was always somebody around. So when it came time for me to navigate adulthood and living alone, for those times I lived alone, it was just like, it's quiet. And I always wanted someone around. And my auntie helped me figure out those different aspects of me, as far as like why was I like that and why I always wanted someone around, because I didn't know what it was like to be by myself, you know? And even like being without her is difficult. Like, I remember, like, we went through a lot together. Like a lot. Like, when my brother passed away, she was the one that was babysitting us. So from that moment to, like, my auntie, accepted me coming out, me graduating, I would say our last final big moment was when I made Jewels for Crowns mine. Um, when I first came out with the hoodies, I didn't tell her. I didn't tell her I did it. I just walked into her room and gave it to her. And, like, I was wearing my hoodie, and I gave her her hoodie, and she just lit up. And then I showed her my piece of paper from the IRS stating that I owned the name Jewels for Crowns. And getting ownership of Jewels for Crowns was so big for me. It was such a big developmental moment for me, because I had talked about doing this and I was like 24, 25. So to get to 36 and to finally birth it physically, it was big, and I got to share it with her. And I remember her just like, I let her see it, and she looked at the letter and she just started crying. And she was like, I'm so proud of you. She was like, my baby finally did it. And I felt so accomplished. Um, I felt accomplished because I would talk to her about wanting to do this. And she was even like, and like my book, I have to complete this year. Like, this is the year to complete it, because I remember when I first got my MacBook, she and I had talked about it, and I was worried about what other people would say, what they would think, and she was just like, she said, you finish your fucking book. She was like, these are her words. She was like, fuck them people. She was like, if this is what you want to do, she was like, you do it. You pursue it. Like, you do this book. She was like, fuck them people. And excuse my language. This is verbatim what she would say. And I have to complete that book this year. Because she's encouraged me so much to do whatever made me happy. And despite my flaws, despite my different things, my auntie's always, like I said, she's always believed in me. And things weren't always perfect. I made my mistakes. She got in my ass. But she always believed in me. And sharing the actual physical birthing of Jewels for Crowns, her seeing my first episode, her being one of my first subscribers, like that was, I remember like how I surprised her with my YouTube. I created everything, did my template. I had got my artwork from my page from Mama Taylor. Like, I got all that, created the page, and I showed it to my aunt. Like I sent her the link. I went to her room. Sent her the link, went to her room, and I said, hey, check your phone. And she just, again, another light up moment. And she was just like, yay, you did it. This is beautiful. I can't wait. And my first episode, when it was released, she was in the hospital. So I had the first episode on my phone. So I took my phone to the, of course, my phone with me to the hospital. Went to the hospital, and I showed her, let her watch the episode, and she was just like, she said, this is really good. She was like, this is going to be really good. It was a great first episode. Like, she was just so encouraging. And she gave me, her feedback, which was show my personality, be myself, be true to myself, no matter what. And I feel like I've done that. And like, when I say this is not just, it's not a me thing, it's a we thing. Like, she's also included in that we, because I know it's a lot of things that my auntie wanted to do that she didn't get a chance to do. So for her, seeing me do it meant a lot for her, meant a lot to her, because I could have grew up angry. I could have grew up depressed. I could have grown up just, I could have grew up with just a negative disposition towards life. But I never wanted to punish people or be unhappy. Like, I always wanted to laugh and love and be loved. Like, that's one thing I always wanted to do. And she always respected that about me, because she's seen me suffer. And I would say, not suffer, but no, but like dealing with my brother, like, it was a lot. Like, Like, the nightmares I had, she understood them because she had the same nightmares. My fears, everything that came along with that trauma, my auntie shared with me. So when it came to someone being able to relate, like, that moment, it was her. Like, I don't like loud, sudden noises because of the gunshots from that day. My auntie is like, she liked things to be loud, because for her it helped her. Because if it was a loud noise that came out of nowhere, it wasn't scare her because, again, it was already loud. But that was, that was my auntie. We approached life differently. Like, my auntie chose to be a little more closed off when it came to the world. Me, I'm just like, hey world, this is me. And like, we went about our grief and our trauma a lot differently. But that's what made us closer, because I understood her, she understood me, and we understood each other in places where nobody else did. So, um, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. Like, I'm grateful. My auntie taught me to be unapologetically me and to take ownership for me. Like, when it comes to me and, again, my sexuality, it's like my auntie was always like, be you. Like, don't be who people want you to be. And I know that would frustrate a lot of people. And my auntie would always sit there and say, little Russell's being who he wants to be. And she respected it because I stood true in that. And when it came to, yeah, yeah. Um, my auntie meant a lot to me. And I remember the last, like, leading up to her passing away, before we found out she was in her last days, is like when she came home and it was like she's in hospice. It is like, ooh, like, I thought I was gonna have her forever, but I didn't know forever was gonna be cut so short. And it was hard. It was hard going in that room and seeing her like that. It was hard, like, 'cause every time I went in that room, it was a reminder of, like, I have to enjoy this moment because I may not have it for so much longer. I was grateful that I got an opportunity to, like, in May, I sent for her son to come see her for her birthday. And because I wanted her last birthday to be spent with her son. And just in case it was her last birthday. And she got that. And I was able to give that to her. Whenever I'd be on the way home, she would want ice or some ice cream. And I would get that for her. Um, we would fuss because I'd be like, oh, your ass can't have that. But I'll get you, like, I would find a workaround for her. I want Oreo Blizzard. So I would just get her, vanilla ice cream. Or I would get her something that was more soft servy, not something that had like all the cookies and extraness. Um, I would always bring her home a cup of ice because I know she loved crushed ice. And I had to, like, my ice machine created nugget ice like Chick-fil-A. So I would always, like, I would always share my ice with her. But, like, I had to learn how to clean my ice maker. So I would just get her ice because I was being lazy and procrastinating on actually cleaning because that bitch is heavy. So, I'm talking about the ice maker. So I will always get her a cup of ice, whether it be from Chick-fil-A or from Cookout. Um, just getting her those little things that I knew, because, like, I remember the last thing she asked for and it was crazy because that was the week that, she started getting sicker, and she was like, I want some fried chicken. And I was like, because my mom was frying some fish, and my auntie smelt it. She was like, who's making fish? And I was like, mommy's in there making it. She was like, I want some fried chicken. And I was like, well, listen, I'm going to get you some fried chicken. She said, when I get better, she's like, I'm going to get some fried chicken. I said, when you get better, you got whatever you want. You got whatever you want. So I remember the day after she passed away, I didn't go to work. And it was me, my little cousin, and my little brother. And my mom was out, getting her quiet time to process. So we were hungry, so let's get some food. My auntie loved, ooh, baby, when I tell you, my love for mayonnaise is because of her. Because she would get a Whopper with cheese, no onions, heavy mayo. And that is how I get my Whoppers, because of her. Any sandwich that comes with mayonnaise has to have extra mayonnaise. Again, I get that from her. That's what I have my notes so I can stay on track. And I knew this was gonna be a pretty long video. I'm going to miss my aunt. I'm going to miss her. I'm going to miss her attitude. I used to know when it was time to play with her, when it wasn't time to play. I knew like when she was in her moods, leave her little ass over there. Leave her ass over there. I'm gonna stay in a little corner. We gonna get along. But I just like I could tell because like that was just not it wasn't just my auntie. That was my sister. It's like I knew. I'm gonna miss being able to talk to her about anything. I'm gonna miss being able to text her throughout the day, like. Oh, sorry. I thought I heard something. I thought CJ had left. That CJ going on now. I'm gonna miss her. I'm going to miss her humor. I'm gonna miss like it's so much Monty introduced me to. It's gonna be difficult. Hold on, sit. Come back. Oreo, come here. I'm gonna miss like different little things about her. I'm gonna miss. I remember her best friend Monifa and myself. We had went into my auntie's room. We were talking to her, and I was like, "Hey, we got to go beat some hoes up." And she was like, "We ride at dawn," because that was her thing. She would say, or Oreo. That's her thing. She would say, "Sit." She would say, "We ride at dawn." Like that was her thing. Sit here. I'm sorry, y'all. I keep having to stop, but it's like Oreo. He's a big baby. Well, he's not really big, but he's a baby. So yeah, I'm gonna miss just her just being her. Like my auntie was just one thing about her. She was again that whole unapologetically me thing. Like that's who she was. She didn't give a damn what nobody thought about her. Like you don't. Her thing was, you don't have to like me. You don't have to talk to me. Like that was her thing. But it's like she was a lot of fun to be around. Like I not many people can sit there and say they got to drink with their auntie. Like we got to drink together. My auntie introduced me to weed. Went to the club together. Like we did a lot together, and I wouldn't have wanted to do. Oh, you want to sit there? Okay. I wouldn't have wanted to do it without anybody but her. Um, if there's anybody in my life, my auntie knew about all of them, like all my friends, and my auntie would ask about them and all that great stuff. It's like she was just a big part of my life. I'm going to miss her dramatic expressions. Girl, when I tell you, we would get in that room, I would close that door, and we would talk about people. Oh, child, we would talk about. Child, we would talk about people like a dog. That's just how we would talk so much trash, but it would be so funny. Like, it's just our humor towards things and the jokes that we would crack. Like, it was just, we were terrible. We were at 30 minutes. We were terrible. Um, I'm gonna miss her so much. I'm going to miss her, and it's so hard just not being able to text her or go talk to her. Like, I've never been without her, and like having this little piece of her, like, it gives me comfort and it gives me something to keep me anchored. I'm just gonna miss her. Um, this journey without her has been different and difficult, and trying to navigate this type of grief is different for me. Um, I got to give her flowers before I knew flowers was gonna need to be given. In January, excuse me. In January, she had FaceTime me and she was crying, and she was in the hospital. And she was in a lot of pain, and we've cried together, but she's never called me crying. And I'm just like, oh hell no. I was like, I'm getting dressed. I'm on the way. I got dressed. I remember I got me the Uber was like $45, but I had to get to my baby. So, and that day I had a doctor's appointment in that area anyway. So I was kind of like, I got to get to my auntie though. So I got my stuff together, packed up my purse. I got to the hospital, got to her room, and we just sat there and we talked. She was calm. I gave her a hug, gave her a kiss, and we prayed. And something just said, tell her how much she means to you. And I did. I told her, I was like, I'm appreciative of you always being there for me, always being supportive, always loving me, always just being not just my auntie, but a friend and a sister to me. And I got to express to her just how much I valued her. And at that time, we didn't know she had dementia. At that time, we didn't know that she would pass away 6, 7 months later. Like, we didn't know. We weren't expecting none of this. But it's like, I gave her flowers, and we laughed, and we cried a little bit too. And I remember because she was like, I miss my mom, and I was like, I miss her too. And I just remember her just every once in a while she'd be like, I want my mom, I want my mom, I want my mom. And I'm just like, girl, I want her too, because this is ghetto. Like, I just wish she was here because things would be so much better. However, I know my auntie's at peace. I seen a picture of her yesterday because I'm collecting pictures for a project that's being worked on by Mama Taylor, from which I'm so grateful for her labor of love. But it was a picture of my auntie holding my brother, the one that passed away, Robert, and I'm just like, yeah, I have peace because I know she missed my grandma. I know that she, missed my brother. I know she carried a lot from that. And I am grateful that she has that peace now, because we're going to be okay down here. We're going to be okay down here. I mean, even now, like, I'm looking at my auntie's urn on the same banister as my grandma's urn. And it's like, they're together. This journey has been an up and down when it's been difficult. Because like I said, I'm not used to not having her. I'm so used to being able to get her or talk to her. So this is different for me. Like I said, this necklace is an anchor for me because I have her close to me. But I'm going to miss her terribly. I'm going to miss her laugh. I'm going to miss how much she loved me. I am grateful that in these last 7 months, I was able to here, I'm proud of you for so many things. Me getting my car, me being able to get back to work after not being able to work because of being sick all the time. From me starting my YouTube, me doing my t-shirts and my hoodies, like being able to do all of this and her see it. And like she got to see me do what I said I was gonna do. And it's beautiful for her to have been able to been a part. So if my auntie, if I had an opportunity, and it's crazy because I felt like I did have the opportunity, um, before she went into her deep decline, um, my sister and I had went into her room and my sister gave her a hug and my auntie and I looked at each other and I put my hand in her hand and she just squeezed it. She squeezed it 4 times and she just looked at me and I just smiled and she said, I know. And I was like, good. Like, cause even like when she came home to start her hospice care here at home, like I would just walk into her room and I would throw up the little heart thing, or I would kiss on her forehead and walk out the room. A couple of times I just went in the room, just sat down on the floor, and we just text. And I'm grateful that we had those moments together. So I can't say if she was here what I would say because I said it. That was kind of one of the things I didn't get with my grandma, was I didn't get to say it to her and know that she was physically here. Like I got to say my last words to my grandma. My grandma was in a coma. But my auntie, I was able to pour into her how much she meant to me and she was able to receive it. And yeah, I'm grateful that God gave me that opportunity. I'm grateful that God gave me the aunt that he gave me. I'm grateful that navigating through a lot of these different challenges, I didn't have to go through it alone because I had my auntie there with me. I would say people know me, but nobody knew me like my auntie knew me. Like really thinking about it, nobody knew her, knew me how. Nobody knew me how she knew me. Not even my parents. With all due respect, like my auntie, like when I had my nightmares, my auntie knew exactly what I was talking about. From being able to smell certain smells, my auntie knew exactly what I was going through and what I felt, and I'm grateful. So I want to end this on a positive note. Um, my auntie meant a lot to me, and baby, when I tell you, we had some. I remember, and I'm gonna wrap this up with this fond memory of her. So I lived in Virginia at this time, and um, we had smoked together, you know, that little high, really high. And we had watched, like, I don't like scary movies. And we had watched Paranormal Activity together. And at one point in time in the movie, so the couple, they leave the house. They got a Ouija board, left the Ouija board on the table. They went out to like date night or whatever it was. And all the windows are closed in the house. And a breeze came through like a wind. And the Ouija board caught on fire, and I said, what the hell is this shit? I said, what the hell? I said, what the? I was going, like, I spazzed out so bad. She had to pause the movie. Lil Russell, calm down. Like, I really was quirking out because I don't like scary movies. Baby, when I tell you, we, like, you know how people say, you know, some people smoke weed and they like get paranoid and they spaz out. Like that was me in that moment. Like, cause I was cool, I was calm, I was collected, I was laid back. Baby, I ain't never said the F word so much in my life. No, I'm lying. I said the F word a lot that night. Like, I was just like, what the fuck is this? Like, it was just so crazy. And that was also the night I did, I was, so I took a washcloth and put it on my head like it was a wig. And I was impersonating Whitney and Janet. No, excuse me, Whitney and Patty. And, oh, when I used to rehearse my lines 1,000 times until I had them memorized. That's how I did it, right? And up and oh God, if I should stay, I would only be in your way. So I'll go. Yeah. Like, that's how I did it that night. And it's so funny. I've only done that with her. So I think that's a great way to close this video out. Ooh. That is a great way to close this video out. That memory. Because, I'm grateful to have experienced Shawnte Chanel Hayden. I am grateful to have experienced her ups, her downs, her happy, her sad, her angry moments. I am grateful to have experienced her. I thought it was significant when I came into this world. My auntie was at the hospital to welcome me to this world. When she left this world, I was there with her. Like I was here in this house with her. So she welcomed me in. I escorted her out. I remember when the funeral home came and got her, and my mom and I walked behind her as they carried her out. And I just kept thinking about it. And it's just like, you welcomed me in, and I walked you out. And I don't think she wouldn't have had it any other way. So even though, again, that was my auntie, she looked at me like I was her little brother. So for me and my mom to walk her out, I know that's what she would have wanted, because we've been there with her. So say this one last time for my auntie, thank you. And so if I keep hearing the thank you for being a friend, yeah. So thank you guys. This is a long video, but thank you guys for taking this time with me to help me honor my aunt. Thank you for listening to me, and thank you for allowing Oreo, stop. Or I will weather bend your ass. Yeah. So, and shout out to everyone who has been supportive through this process. Mama Taylor, Jeremiah, Martin, Chloe, Latrice, everybody, Kanye, everybody who's been a support, who have prayed for us, prayed with us, Cece, Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Um, just the kind words, the checking on me. It is appreciated so much. Um, and it does not go unnoticed. Um, and I hope and I hope and I pray that God gives back to you tenfold what you guys have done for me these last 2 weeks. Um, and I'm hoping that when it's time for God to give it back to you tenfold, that He blesses me with the opportunity to bless you in return. Because thank you, thank you, um, thank you. But keep me lifted in prayer. My cousin in prayer, my mother in prayer. Um, this is difficult for us. So just keep us lifted because life still has to life. Life still has to go on. And I'm grateful that I have this piece of her to carry with me. Um, I'm grateful. I'm grateful. So everything that happens next, she'll be able to be with me. So I love you all. Thank you for watching. I will see you all next week and we'll do this again. All right. Love you all.